You can tell me in the comments section below, do people still think that President Trump is an authoritarian dictator? Let me know below how if that's what you're seeing out there, because I feel like that narrative has kind of that narrative generated by the Democratic Party in the lead up to the 2016 election that never existed prior to 2015, 2016. Okay, for a man who was in the public eye for 40 years. You never heard about how he was a racist or an authoritarian or any of these negative things. In fact, you heard the opposite for the most part. And then all of a sudden this came out. But speaking of the Democrats, you'll see this quite often among Democrat voters and politicians. They'll go ahead and they'll say, "Take away our guns! Take away our guns!" And then they'll also say, "The president is an authoritarian dictator." So I say, pick one. Take away all of our guns, or the president is an authoritarian dictator. Okay? Can't have both. All right? Unless you're insane. Because if the president is an authoritarian dictator, well, I'm going to want to have my gun. Okay? The citizens have a right to protect themselves. I do believe in the Second Amendment. I do believe in personal protection. And I believe that the person protecting themselves should have the same access to weaponry that is available on the black market. Okay? When we create a black market that only criminals and seedier individuals have access to, and then we say, well, these people, they're not going to obey the laws anyway. Okay? Criminals are not going to follow the more stringent gun laws, the more stringent background checks. They're not going to follow the, if you fix the gun show loophole, they're going to find another way to get the same weapons. Meanwhile, your average citizen is at a disadvantage to their black market firepower. And, what we find is that when you limit guns and you try to stop gun violence by getting rid of all the guns, well, you can create more gun violence. Look at gun-free zones. Check out the crime rate and the shooting rate, the gun homicide rate in Chicago, for instance. Places where gun-free zones are implemented, the people that do have guns, that don't follow laws, that couldn't give a damn about your gun-free zone, come on. These people, they come in and they know that, well, everyone here is free of guns. This is easy mode. Time to binge, time to purge, time to steal all your shit and or kill you, which are much more severe than your binging and purging. So, yeah, if the president were actually Hitler, you'd want to have a gun. Okay? Now, if you don't think that the government is authoritarian and you're saying take away our guns, well, let's just agree to disagree. Now, I'm not personally a gun owner, just a full disclosure, not a gun owner. Okay? I carry a bat, but I do support full Second Amendment rights. I think that the bump stock ban should be lifted. I think that it was a political move, a concession by the Trump administration and the Republicans to do that. I think that the NRA has been weakened, and I believe that people should have access to as many weapons and as much ammunition as possible. Each sovereign citizen of this nation should be allowed the full extent, the broadest interpretation of the Second Amendment and their rights within. So on the same note, when someone says, no more guns, no more guns, and then they also say, let in every illegal alien, let in every illegal alien, I say, pick one, because you can't really have both. Okay? Now, a lot of illegal aliens are harmless, innocent people that just want to find a better life. But by their very definition, they are, of course, criminals. Okay, they're here illegally. They're breaking the law. Now, that aside, a number of them are not so savory individuals. Okay, when you have your MS-13 gang and other people, other gangs and traffickers of drugs and people, children, women, these people are not savory. They are criminals by the fact that they have crossed your border illegally, and then they go ahead and they commit a bunch of other crimes as well. And unfortunately, yeah, when you say that you want to take all the guns away and let all of the illegal aliens in that have no respect for the United States or its laws, well, you are essentially inviting, or as the president has said, unleashing crime, which is something that you definitely don't want to do. So, we don't live in a world where guns can be taken away. You can make references to other countries, and I say analogies are bad because other countries have different cultures. The United States was founded on a revolution. It's founded on individual liberty, negative liberty. It's founded on positive liberty, when people can all contribute and all build this bigger and better world for each other. Okay? When you take away our right to personal protection, you're infringing on a human right because, again, I have a bat, but if someone came after me with a gun, I'd be at a disadvantage. I understand that. That's why I live in a safe neighborhood. So, you can't get everything. And I recommend you look at the fact that gun crime and gun death figures are way, way down since the 80s and the 90s in America. Take a look at the numbers.